Hi, it has been a hot minute since I have been on this channel. This is going to be the second car chats. However, we are obviously not in my car, but I am going to stick with that series because this is essentially what a car chat is. It's me just like sitting down, talking, chatting with you guys, updating you on things. So although I am not literally in my car, we're going to call this a car chat. The reason I'm not in my car is because I have COVID. I'm at the tail end of it, thank goodness, but it has been rough. I'm grateful that I get to quarantine in my room that has pretty much everything that I need, and my husband has been great with me and my son and just really doing it all by himself. But I figured I'd take this time to just chat with you guys, update you on I don't know, some stuff in my life, but mainly just like chit chat. So before I get into everything, I just wanted to tell you the topics that I want to talk about, just so you can kind of like skip through if you want to just hear certain parts of it. So I definitely want to talk about a new hobby that I have, some new greeting cards for my shop that you guys are going to be the first to see, the new books that I've been reading, and Taylor and Travis, obviously. So let's hop into it. First, I'll show you the new greeting cards. I have 5 new greeting cards. They were supposed to go up this past weekend, but obviously because I'm sick, I was not doing absolutely anything for the shop for obvious reasons. So I have 3 new thank you cards and 2 new birthday cards. So this is going to be the first thank you card. This is the second. And then the third, very simple. Thanks, bestie. And then these are the happy birthday cards. So this one, I don't know why I think it's so funny. Oh my god. It just says HBD, choose one, and you basically just circle who the card is for. I don't know, I thought that was really funny. And then this one just says happy B-Day, and they are all blank on the inside, and then the back is just like the basic Love by Lar stuff. So those are the cards, and they are gonna go up as soon as I'm 100% better, because technically I'm past like the days of needing to isolate, but I still have symptoms, so I'm just still staying in here and not touching anything, just to be on like the extra cautious side. So that's that. I will keep you guys posted on that. So if you want to know when those are going to go up, I'll update you on my shop Love by Lar page on Instagram. So the second thing is going to be the new hobby that I've kind of picked up. I'm gonna assume that I tried to get into it in the past because all of these supplies were in my old closet, in my old room, but it is water painting, watercolor painting, whatever. I found this set in my old closet, so I was like, what the heck? It's so cute because I've been seeing that TikTok one, the viral one, you know what I'm talking about, and I really wanted to buy it, but I was like, that's not necessary, like I don't need to get that. And then I found this one, and it's just such a good array of colors. And then this is from Noah's closet, is just paintbrushes. I want to say these are just like regular paintbrushes, for not specifically watercolor, but I'm just using what I have. I feel like I'm the type of person where typically if I was going to get into something, I would, you know, want to do it right and like get the right supplies and the proper this and that. But with art, I feel like that's like a little bit of like the toxic part of like art and that kind of stuff, where it's like, oh, you have to get certain stuff or certain brands or certain whatevers to even begin, but that's really not true. So I literally had the watercolor, the brushes, and even the paper in my house because I do crafts with my son, and we had, I guess at some point I bought thick paper for his paints, so the, you know, if you paint on like regular paper it just gets nasty, but you know, it's like nothing special, and I made them purposefully looking like a Polaroid, but like I don't know, I thought this was pretty. This was supposed to be mountains, if you couldn't tell, with like some little birdies, but I was just really proud of these. I want to kind of incorporate painting, like watercolor painting, into like gifts I do this year for Christmas. I don't know, I'm trying to figure it out, but it's just fun to like either listen to a podcast, an audiobook, or even just have like Netflix playing in the background while you just like watercolor and just get lost in it. Allowing yourself to be creative without a specific end goal per se. So I've been watercolor painting and I really enjoy it. Let's talk about the books that I've been reading. If you've been following me on Instagram, you know that I read a lot. Like every month I probably read at least 18 to 20 books. And to be fair, I've also been home on workers comp, so that's like what allows me to be able to read that much. I don't think it's going to be that much once I start going back to work, but especially being in quarantine, obviously reading at least a book a day because I'm literally doing nothing in this room. So I want to tell you about four books. Three of them I literally just read, and one of them I love so much that I'm now listening to the audio version of it because I want to like consume it again. So that one is The Score by Elle Kennedy. It's the third book in the Off Campus series. It's Dean and Allie's book, and it is so good. It's so funny, it's spicy, it's a hockey romance. I just love it. So I used my my Audible credit to download that audio version of the book because it's so good and I just wanted to like listen to it. So yeah, that's The Score by Elle Kennedy. I listened to the audiobook of Icebreaker, that really popular hockey romance, back when it first came out, and that's when I was only listening to audiobooks. So back then there was no like rhyme or reason to what I was listening to, basically because I only got 1 credit a month. So I pretty much was like either listening to 1 book a month or 1 like popular book and then listening to the like free books that come with the Audible subscription. So I didn't really have much of a choice, so I was kind of just reading like whatever. But now that I'm actually reading like on my Kindle, I'm much more particular about the books because of Kindle Unlimited, and I am paying attention more to like the different tropes. So back when I read Icebreaker, or when I listened to Icebreaker, I wasn't specifically into like hockey romances, but because I am into hockey romances and because the second book just came out this week, I was like, let me read Icebreaker again. So I put it on Libby, when you get like free ebooks from your public library, and the wait was forever. It was like months long, but finally I got it this past week. So I read it again and I do still love it. It's really good and I can't wait to read Wildfire, the second book in that series. Okay, so the last 2 books I want to talk to you about, I literally read yesterday and then today. So the first one is The Fall of Bradley Reed. It's the 3rd book in the Season of Revenge series. So every single one of the books has a theme of getting revenge in some way, shape, or form. The special thing about this one is that I actually skipped the first 2 books. I don't usually do that, but I skipped it because I heard so many good things about the 3rd book, and it was a 5-star. I'm really surprised that I got 2 5-stars in a row, this one and the next book I'm about to tell you about. But The Fall of Bradley Reed basically is this woman who gets left essentially at the altar, and she tries to exact revenge on her ex, but she has an FBI agent who's like surveilling her, and she's like searching up all this crazy stuff and illegal stuff, and he's like, what are you doing? And it's so funny, it's spicy, it's a good story. I just really enjoyed it. So I'm definitely going to read the first 2 books before that so I can get to know even more of the characters that were in that 3rd book. And then the next book and last book I want to talk about is Sabrina September is a Liar. I finished that one today and it was so good, especially that last like 30%. I could not put my book down. I was like eating my pho reading my book. Like it was just it was so good. So what's nice is that the 2 main characters, they're actually Black, which you kind of don't really see a lot in these romance novels, which is a problem. So both of the main characters are Black, and then the female main character, she's also plus size. But what's nice is that that's not necessarily like a plot line, that's just who she is. Like she is from South Africa, I want to say, and he's from the US, but they're both in Japan. He's in Japan for the military and she's in Japan to kind of like start anew, and it's just their journey. It's cool because it's a dual point of view, so it's his perspective and her perspective, but it's also dual timeline, so it's going to be 10 years in the past and then present day, and it's just so good. But I would recommend looking up the trigger warnings for it because they do cover things like that are relative to being in the military, but then they also cover things that are just like regular life things that suck that could potentially be triggering for some people, but it was so good. And then there's a second book after it that I will probably read right after this. All right, you know what we have to talk about? Taylor and Travis. So I'm gonna go back, okay? I'm gonna go back. So I think we're jumping all the way back to February, the Super Bowl. So first of all, I'm not afraid to like admit when I have jumped onto something because it was really popular. I feel like I don't do that often, like especially with shows and stuff. I don't really like to watch shows that become super popular. I don't know why, but with the Kelce brothers, I became very interested and invested because, you know, the story of like the two brothers going to the Super Bowl on opposing teams, the mom like having to like figure out who she's gonna cheer for, that stuff. Like I loved it. So from February, I knew about them and I was like, you know, they were on my radar. I was like watching their TikToks and all that kind of stuff. And in March, Taylor's tour begins, and obviously I was keeping up with that. And then on Travis and Jason's podcast, that's when Travis said that he was trying to give Taylor a friendship bracelet with his phone number on it, blah 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 blah. And from there, everyone just like ran with the rumors, right? I personally did not. Any thoughts that I had, I shared it with my husband. I don't think I really shared or participated in that publicly too much, especially on TikTok. Like I might have like mentioned something to my like 90 Instagram followers, but yeah, because I don't know, I feel like in the past Taylor has kind of said that she doesn't really like people speculating about her love life and her private life and stuff like that. So that was kind of that. And then the NFL season started. So because sounds so silly, but because of one, me being interested in the Kelce brothers who are on the Chiefs and the Eagles, which the Eagles is my husband's team, so even more so, we were really into the Super Bowl this past year. So because of the Kelce brothers and also because of the sports romance books that I've been reading, I've been more into like professional sports. So I told my husband like, I probably will be watching more football with you this season, and he got really excited about it, and that's exactly what we did. Sometimes from 7 a.m. here in Hawaii to 5 p.m. we were watching football. But just so happened that game, you know which game I'm talking about, I was not like sitting like watching the TV because my girlfriend was over. So we were just hanging out, and my husband ends up calling me into the room and he's like, look at this. And it was Taylor Swift up in the Kelce box with Mama Kelce in Chiefs gear, and I lost my mind. I was screaming. I fell to my knees like a freaking drama queen, and I just lost my mind. I was freaking out because it was like a confirmation. Like I feel like, especially after Taylor was in such a private relationship for the past 6 years, we didn't get stuff like that, and it was wild. I feel like I blacked out, and it was just so crazy. And then Travis kind of like confirmed things on their podcast the next Wednesday, and then Taylor showed up to the game this past week with Blake, Ryan, Hugh Jackman, Sabrina Carpenter, Sophie Turner. Was that it? There were so many people, and it was so wild, and it's been exciting. However, I do think that the NFL is taking things a little bit too far, and it just feels a little bit icky to me. I don't know. And like people saying it's a PR relationship, I don't see what Taylor gets out of this. I don't really think that Taylor needed the fans of the NFL to like boost her career by absolutely any means. The commercial or like the promo the NFL was using with Taylor's song wasn't even Taylor's version, so that kind of tells me that they probably didn't get permission from her. So it's just like weird. Like it was fun for one day, you know, that first Sunday, but it's getting a little old. Like even as a Swiftie who loves to just absolutely talk about Taylor Swift at any and every point in the day, it's just like it's a little old. And I was telling my husband, like, if you need to do a Google search to insert Taylor Swift references to make yourself seem cool or relevant, or to continue to use this as like a marketing situation, that's gross to me. I don't know. I don't think I'm trying to like gatekeep Taylor, because I don't think that's possible. But it's just rubs me the wrong way. And the Swifties that are in my life agree, where it's like, okay, this was fun, but now it's like it's a little ick. And it's like, all right, we get it. He saw blank space in the red zone, in the end zone, and he scored, and that catch was beyond his wildest dreams. Like, okay, we get it. We get it. Your intern did a quick Google search for you. So we'll see how everything plays out, but I think for Swifties it's really fun because for the first time in a really long time, Taylor's with somebody who does two things very well. The first thing is like talking about her, bragging on her, being proud and excited to be with her, but also being very respectful of their privacy, which I feel like is really cool because Joe just really didn't talk about her all that much. Like, their relationship was extremely private, and then now seeing how everything is, it kind of seems like he was the one who wanted to keep things private. But with Travis and Taylor, it's like he's happy to talk about her on the podcast and praise her and all this kind of stuff, but like beyond what we can see with our own eyes, he says like, well, the rest we're gonna keep between us, like out of respect for both her and myself and our privacy. Like, I think that's really cool and really fun, something that we haven't seen in a really long time. So we'll see how all of this plays out, but it seems like Taylor's having a really good time, and as someone who's a fan of her, I feel like that's just really all you can want and ask for. So that is pretty much gonna be it for this little car chats that's not in the car. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any book recommendations. Leave that down below. You can follow my Shop Love by Laura page if you want updates on the greeting cards. I also have my regular personal Instagram, and yeah, I think that is it. It was nice chatting, and hopefully we can do this again, minus the COVID and minus the isolation, and actually be in a car next time. So yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Love you. Bye.